Hello and welcome to Chevening Application Essay Writing Tutorials. I'll be your host for today. My name is Tian Yan, and I was a Chevening Scholar from year 2019 to 2020. I pursued my master's in data science in the University of Essex. Today, I'm a data scientist, a storyteller, and also secretary of Chevening Alumni Malaysia for the tenureship of 2020 to 2022. We're going to focus on your essays today for the purpose of the application for the Chevening Scholarship. I will share with you a very unique perspective of how I write my essays, or rather, if I had to do it over again, this is how I would do it. And by the way, I've done it twice. I was awarded the Chevening Scholarship twice, first time in 2018. I was shortlisted, I passed the interview, but I failed to secure a university placement and had to redo the whole process all over again. The following year, however, I had a little bit more success. So having written the essays twice, I guess it took me twice for it to get it right. And so I will share with you the lessons that I've gained from that journey. So let's begin. Back in year 2017, I had to write 4 essays with a maximum word count of 500 words each. You know about these essays. These essays cover leadership, networking, studying, and career. Typically, when a panelist reads your essays, they're going to read it from left to right. Trust me, they won't jump between networking to career to leadership and then circle back to studying. It's the same way of how a person will read a novel or read a book, right? It's follow from the beginning towards the end. And the interview process is similar. They'll ask you questions on leadership, then questions on networking, and then questions on studying and career, etc. There is a natural chronological order in each of these essays. Leadership and networking are stories from your past. These are things that have happened to you. This is how you reacted. This is how you lead. This is your track record. Studying and career belongs to the future. You will set foot to the UK soon and pursue your master's and travel along the way. And when you return, there'll be some action steps of which you actually put to action so that you can address your original leadership question. Hence, they belong in the timeline, and very much so, they belong into a story arc, something we call the hero's journey from Act 1 to Act 4. Now, I know in screenplays there's only 3 acts, but just humor me, and this is Act 4, right? It's the next volume of the story, right? Your story doesn't end just because you return from the UK. There's actually a career in place there. So think of your essays more like a screenplay. In Act 1, that's leadership. You introduce the problem, the villain, the conflict, the motivation of the hero. By the way, you are the hero or the heroine. In Act 2, that's where you have networking. You introduce the characters who believe in you, who follow your hero's journey. They are your mentors and your allies. They play a pivotal part in your development today. Act 3 is studying. You won't just end here because if you had all the solutions to the conflict, you wouldn't have to go study. You wouldn't have to travel to a magical place that is the UK and forge a new sword by magic, or in most cases, just plain hard work. So you have to forge a new sword. In Act 4, that's your career. That's the action plan to resolve the conflict that started it all. Why is this important? Well, for 2 reasons. The first reason is this story arc helps you to organize your writing. You have a continuous story and you don't have to be repetitive across your essays. Trust me, you will talk about leadership in your career because that's how, your career that's how your career progresses, right? It's very intertwined. You'll also talk about networking while you're studying because you meet new people, you travel around, you meet your mentors, you collaborate with them. If you're not careful, each element of leadership, networking, studying, and careers will bleed across each of the essays, and it will just be one continuous piece that's just very repetitive. So what you have to do is that you have to put all your points down on paper, write the first draft, write the second draft, and then reassemble them for it to follow into this arc. Some place of the story you feel like, okay, if I bring this a little bit earlier, I can set the scene a lot better. If I put this at the end, it'll wrap up and deliver the punchline. Then there will be character development. There will be a storyline that explains you as a candidate why you belong in the UK. Second, this helps in your interviewing process as well because you don't have to memorize all of your points, your talking points from each of your essays word by word. No. You will have your talking points in the form of themes, and this will help your delivery during the interview. You won't feel like you're memorizing a script, and you won't be tempted to speak so fast and rush through the points. What will happen is that you naturally find your own pace, pause after finishing each theme, and segue into the next. This is how you make yourself memorable, and this is how you make an impression. Because trust me, even after you get selected for the scholarship, they will not remember your name until they call it during the ceremony. They most likely remember the guy who rewrote textbooks to change gender stereotypes. Or, oh, that girl who thought about food as a universally understood piece of artwork that no one can censor. They will remember your stories. They don't necessarily remember your name. And this is very critical if your interview is done remotely over Zoom, because that's the only way you can be memorable. So, theme. Because I study data science, my theme for leadership is admit my ignorance. I don't know everything. And we have to question technology. We have to question the ethics behind it. Two, there are people who have influenced me to think this way. These are all the people who made me who I am, and I need to progress to the next step. Three, everything new is something old with a different name. In order for me to understand technology, I have to study from the best. I have to go where the research is. I need to dig deep and go down to the roots and understand where did all these problems come from, because they're not new problems, they're just new to me. Right? There's a saying that everything is old, everything is history, and it just happens to new people. That's the same thing here. That's why I have to go study, right? That's the justification of why I deserve to go to the UK and pursue a master's so that I can address my earlier problem. Finally, four, the theme, educating others with my newfound knowledge. And that's a pillar in my career that in my career, I make choices deliberately such that I can switch the conversation of what we're discussing about in this industry. That would be the theme. So let's start with leadership.